What's up YouTube? Welcome back to my next video, and in this video I want to share with you the 5 most important things I wish I knew before quitting my 9-to-5 job. So I've been in your shoes for years and I know exactly how you feel and what you feel. So I know exactly the pressure you have on your shoulders when it comes down to paying your bills, guaranteeing an income because of the family security insurance, the mortgage, whatever you have. I know exactly how you feel, but the thing is, before you quit your 9-to-5 job, you have to understand that there has to be a ground. And I know that quitting the job is not just quitting the job. It is to pursuing for something greater, for a vision, to becoming financial free, to have more freedom to choose the way you want to live. In your 9-to-5 job, you have a schedule, you have meetings, and you have a start and you have an end. All this organization is done by someone for you. This is the good side of the 9-to-5 job, because you don't have to think about leads, projects, schedule. All this is mostly done for you before you come to the job. So when you step out of the 9-to-5 job, you have to schedule your daily routine by yourself. It can become really tough when you are lazy or when you have no idea how to schedule your day. So the moment where you want to leave your 9-to-5 job is very important. So before you leave your 9-to-5 job, make sure that you did a lot of research about the business you want to do. You can do it beside your work. You can work from 9-to-5, go home, be around your kids, and when your kids going to bed, you can make your research. Do a full research about the business, what you want to do, because afterwards it becomes really hard to quit your 9-to-5 job and don't get the money what you had before as a salary and still being able to pay the bills, because your business will not blow up the fast you think it could. So it will take much longer than you think. All the research about your business, your product, or whatever you have, do it while you're working from 9-to-5. Cut a 30-minute or 60 minutes a day and do it at least 3 times a week to do your research, to have enough information to make the first start. This is the first thing I would do. So the second thing I wish I knew before quitting my 9-to-5 job is that the money you have to make a living before you get your first clients on your business, you will lose this money so fast that you cannot imagine. You will have costs, you will have investments, you will have some costs for marketing, for production development, and then, by the way, you have for the 6 months, for example, of period of time, you have to still pay your bills. So you will get out of money sooner as you can imagine. And this is mostly the thing that stops you from becoming successful, because cash flow is the fuel of your business. If you run out cash flow, run out of money, you probably died because of this. Maybe your idea is really good, your service is really good, but the problem is if you run out of money, you cannot pay the bills of the company, and then that's why most entrepreneurs give up or quit and they go back to the 9-to-5 jobs, because they run out of money. Then they have that bad experience about entrepreneurship that when someone is talking to them, they always say, hey, it will not work. I tried and I failed. But failing is a part of becoming an entrepreneur or becoming successful. So beside of the financial pressure, what was the hardest for me is the third point, and this is the loneliness in business. So when you started a service or kind of business, especially in the preparation phase, before you launch your product, before you launch your services and try to do your first acquisitions and get your first clients, you have to do a lot of research, you have to do a lot of development, you have to do the website, you have to do the logo, you have to do the acquisition. Everything is on your own hands. You have to schedule your weeks, everything on that. So the problem in this point is what I have, you become lonely, you become alone. There's no one you can discuss with. And this is something that is really, really underestimated, because mostly when you're working on your 9 to 5 job, you have your coffee breaks, you have your lunch break, and you are surrounded with your team. Even if you don't like maybe the job itself, you probably have some friends in the same company or become friends with some colleagues. So therefore you have some small talks and you can talk with them, you can discuss with them, you can interact. The social interaction itself is so important, and you will lose that when you quit your 9 to 5 job, because before you become an entrepreneur, you are a solopreneur, and therefore this loneliness can kill you. This loneliness can destroy everything, because when you have a problem in your business and something you have imagined and it didn't work, and this will happen definitely. It happens most of the time because you have something in mind and you tried it out and this will not work. So therefore you have to have a solution. So an entrepreneur is nothing else than someone who solves problems. And the better you get in solving problems, the better your business will become and successful you will become at the end of the day. So therefore, usually when you're working in a 9 to 5, you have someone to discuss. When you cannot find a solution, you go to a colleague and ask him, hey, this is the problem I'm working on and I have certain thoughts about this, I have these feelings about that, and this doesn't end up in a solution. What do you think about this? And your colleagues can discuss with you, or you have team meetings every week where you discuss some problems and your colleagues with more experience can help you on that. And all this will disappear when you quit your 9 to 5 job. You have to solve this problem. And I'm honest to you, during the last 6-7 years, this was the hardest thing to me. This was what nearly killed me, that I was alone with all the problems. And you go to bed alone. No one cares about your problems. And therefore, before you quit your 9 to 5 job, make sure that you have a social environment supporting you on your business. And that one thing, they cannot help you to produce something for you, cannot help you because they are not in your business, but they can support you with social interaction. They can support you on the social base. And this is so important. I'm grateful that I have a family and friends, my wife, they support me in my business. Otherwise, I think it would kill me too. So basically, your boss is setting for you the goals. You don't have to think about your goals. You have quarter-year goals, half-year goals, year goals. So at the end of the year, or after 3 months, or after 6 months, you're sitting with a team, you're sitting with a boss, and he's telling you, did you reach the goal or did you not reach the goal? So when you quit your 9 to 5 job and you are a solopreneur or entrepreneur, then you have to set your goals. And one of the things you have to keep in mind is you have mainly 2 types of goals. You have input goals and you have output goals. You have full control about your input goals, but you don't have the full control about your output goals. I give you an example. If you start your business and you say, in my first year, I want to do 100K. This is an output goal. You never know. You think the market needs this product or this service. So when you start a business and you set goals like, I want to have 100K, 500K, or 1 million a year, this is an output goal. I wouldn't recommend to do that in the beginning. I would recommend to do it in the beginning that you set input goals. This is what I do and what I did already for my YouTube channel as well. I said that I want to do my first 100 videos for my YouTube channel. This is an input goal. Do I reach 1,000 subscribers or 100,000 subscribers? It's depend on YouTube, on the platform, on the service, on the quality of my videos. And the same is here. If you start a business and you quit your 9 to 5 job, set input goals. So for example, you say, I want to talk with 10 clients this week. I want to call 100 clients this week. All of them these are input goals. You have full control about these input goals. You have to keep in mind that previously your boss set the goals for you. He gave you, for example, revenue goals or project goals. He gave you the goals because you worked in a company with 15 or 100 years experience. So when you have that much experience in your business, then you can also assume to set output goals. But in the beginning, I would suggest to you to just set input goals. So it is sometimes tough to work on things you have in mind, the idea, you quit your job from 9 to 5 and start your business, and you have a line of customers and they're waiting for your service or your product. But in reality, it is not that way. So it is much harder to get a client, to talk with the client, and to convince the client to pay you for something. So therefore, before a task is after a task. If you have your to-do list and you did everything what was on your list and you still don't get your clients, you cannot wait. As an entrepreneur, you have always to search for ways, for new ways. For an example, you open a restaurant and it runs very well. You worked for 1.5 years to run it proper. Then the pandemic came over, COVID came, and you have to close. So what to do then? You cannot stay. We all saw that during the pandemic, everyone was 2 years at home. So therefore, what to do? You have to find another solution. And before you quit your 9-to-5 job, make sure that you are willing to rethink and to develop your idea and your business and your services. It is not that you have that one nugget, everyone wants to have that, and you don't need to develop this thing for the next 10 decades. You have to develop that. Look on the history of any company. They rebrand themselves over and over and over again. But the most important thing is what you have to keep in mind is, and this is the last thing I wish I knew before I start my business, is that you have to develop depending on the market when you are a starter. So later you can describe the market. But at the beginning, you have to search for the needs of the market and you have to serve them with your idea or your services.